Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today with a spirit charged with expectation, because there are moments in life when the atmosphere shifts, when something unseen begins to move, and when the soul senses that change is not just coming, it has already begun. And today I want to speak to you about stepping into that sacred place of expectancy, the kind that lifts your eyes, steadies your heart, and stretches your faith to receive what you once believed was impossible. I want to speak to you about the moment when a person dares to believe that a divine deposit, yes, even one imagined as $3,500,000 in symbolic or practical form, is on its way after a prayer that is soaked in sincerity, trust, boldness, and alignment with purpose. This is not just about money. It is about breakthrough, about transformation, about a new season, and about stepping into the fullness of what you were created to experience. Some people hear a number and think only of finances, but others hear a number and feel a calling, a destiny, a shift in identity. The idea of expecting a $3,500,000 wealth miracle can represent abundant provision, overwhelming blessing, the fulfillment of long-awaited dreams, or the unlocking of a purpose that has been constrained by lack or limitation. It is not always about currency. Sometimes it is about capacity, the capacity to live without fear, the capacity to give generously, the capacity to pursue a mission, the capacity to walk in freedom. So as you hear this message today, I invite you to open not only your ears, but also your heart. Because this speech is not merely a collection of words. It is a journey of faith, courage, transformation, and alignment with the spiritual laws of abundance that have shaped human hope across generations. There is a moment in every spiritual awakening when the person praying stops praying as though they are pleading with the heavens and starts praying like someone who knows that heaven has already answered. That is the moment of shift, when asking becomes receiving, when fear bows to boldness, when hope turns into certainty, and when someone stands in that place and declares, I expect a wealth miracle, a divine deposit, a turning point. That declaration is not just wishful thinking. It becomes a spiritual act of alignment. It becomes a statement that says, I am ready. Ready for the next level. Ready for responsibility. Ready for opportunity. Ready for patience. Ready for growth. Ready for stewardship. Ready for abundance in every form. When a person begins expecting a miracle, something dynamic occurs within them. Expectation ignites vision. Vision sharpens decisions. Decisions shape habits. Habits sculpt destiny, and destiny opens the doors through which blessings can flow. Miracles often do not appear out of thin air. Often they appear through the paths we did not see before. The doors we thought were locked, the opportunities we once felt unworthy to pursue. Expectation creates readiness and reading. SS creates receptivity. It is only the open hand that can receive, and only the open heart that can perceive the blessing when it arrives. There are many who pray and wait, but do so with doubt. They plant seeds in frozen soil and wonder why they do not grow. But there is a different kind of believer, the one who prays and then prepares as though the answer is already en route. This is the person who clears space, who aligns their actions, who organizes their life, who steps into gratitude before the blessing manifests. This is the kind of person who understands that faith is not passive. It is participatory. It is active. It is living. It breathes. It moves. It transforms the one who carries it. So when I speak of expecting a $3,500,000 miracle, I am not merely speaking about a sum of money. I am speaking about preparing oneself for abundance in every realm. It could manifest as financial breakthrough. It could manifest as opportunities that exceed the value of that number. It could manifest as emotional healing, mental clarity, spiritual awakening, or the dissolving of barriers that have long hindered progress. A miracle is not always what it appears to be on the surface. Sometimes the miracle is the shift internally that allows the external to change. Today, I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine standing at the intersection of your prayer and your purpose. Imagine that the words you speak in faith are being carried on the wind of intention, rising like incense, resonating with the divine. Imagine that every time you declare, "I am expecting this miracle," you are sending a signal to your own future. A signal that says, "Prepare the way, I am coming into my abundance." Imagine that the idea of a divine deposit is not about a single moment, but about a sequence of events. Doors opening, connections forming, talents sharpening, courage increasing, clarity rising. There is a powerful truth that humanity has learned over millennia. The posture of your heart influences the direction of your life. A grateful heart attracts new blessings. A hopeful heart identifies opportunities. A believing heart dismantles fear. A courageous heart acts when others hesitate. So when you stand and declare your expectancy of a wealth miracle, you are not making an empty wish. You are adopting a posture of readiness, inviting abundance to find you prepared, not surprised. Let us consider the nature of abundance. Abundance does not shout, it whispers. It does not force itself. It invites itself. It does not push its way in. It waits for alignment. Abundance flows naturally to those who are positioned to receive it. Think of a river. A river does not demand permission to flow. It simply flows where the channel is open. Likewise, divine blessing moves naturally toward the open, the ready, the receptive. When you stand in faith and say, "I expect a miracle," you widen the channel. You remove the stones of fear, doubt, and hesitation. You open a path through which blessing can travel unobstructed. When I speak of expecting this wealth miracle, I want you to understand that expectation is a seed, and every seed needs the right environment to grow. Just as seeds require soil, water, and sunlight, the seed of expectancy requires intention, preparation, and action. It is not enough to say, "I expect a miracle." You must also live as though the miracle is preparing to meet you. If you expect opportunity, prepare your skills. If you expect abundance, cultivate discipline. If you expect growth, embrace responsibility. If you expect breakthrough, release what no longer serves you. Expectation is belief, but preparation is proof. Now let us explore the prayer that often precedes such expectation. A sincere prayer is not simply a request. It is an alignment of will, intention, and desire. It is a moment when the heart opens fully, free of pretense, free of ego, free of fear. Prayer is not the act of convincing heaven to act. It is the act of connecting yourself with the divine flow already available. When someone prays with the belief that a divine deposit is on its way, what they are truly doing is affirming that the universe is abundant, that the divine is generous, and that they are capable of receiving what they seek. This is powerful. This transforms the person praying. This elevates their vibration, their confidence, their clarity. Prayer invites peace, and peace opens the door to wisdom. Wisdom leads to decisions, and decisions lead to action. And often it is action, not magic, that manifests the miracle. Sometimes the miracle is that the right idea comes at the right time. Sometimes the miracle is that the right person crosses your path. Sometimes the miracle is that a burden is lifted so that opportunity can finally enter. There is no single shape a miracle must take. It can take any form necessary to fulfill its purpose. But let me speak for a moment about the responsibility of abundance. People often desire wealth without understanding what it requires. Abundance is not merely possession, it is stewardship. It is the ability to handle blessing with integrity, wisdom, and vision. It is the capacity to bless others, to create opportunities, to elevate communities, to transform generational patterns. When you expect a $3,500,000 miracle or any form of significant blessing, you must ask yourself, am I ready for the responsibility that comes with it? Because blessing without maturity can become a burden. Wealth without wisdom can become chaos. But wealth aligned with purpose becomes power. Power to create, to uplift, to contribute, to heal. Faith is not only about asking, it is about becoming. And becoming is the true miracle. When you become someone who can handle abundance, abundance finds you. When you become someone who can steward wealth, wealth flows toward you. When you become someone who is aligned with purpose, opportunities align with you. And the beauty of faith is that it invites us to become more, not simple. Why to receive more? Let us speak now about courage. Expecting abundance requires courage. It is easier to lower your expectations than to raise them. It is easier to hope for something small than to declare something big. It is easier to settle for what is familiar than to reach for what is extraordinary. But courage is the fuel of faith. Courage says, I choose to believe even when I cannot see. Courage says, I choose to expect even when circumstances look contrary. Courage says, I choose to speak life even when silence seems safer. Courage opens doors that fear keeps locked. When someone declares that they expect a miraculous deposit after prayer, they are demonstrating extraordinary courage not because they know exactly how it will manifest, but because they believe in the possibility of divine orchestration. It is this belief that changes lives. Belief inspires effort. Belief fosters resilience. Belief attracts support. Belief shapes destiny. And destiny is built not in the visible realm, but in the unseen places of conviction, intention, and faith. Now let us discuss the transformative power of gratitude. Gratitude is not the after effect of receiving. It is the precondition of receiving. When you express gratitude for blessings that have not yet manifested, you are declaring your trust in the divine timeline. You are saying, I believe so deeply in what is coming that I choose to be thankful in advance. This is not delusion. It is spiritual alignment. It is mental conditioning. It is emotional preparation. Gratitude places you in the frequency of abundance, the state in which opportunities become visible, solutions become apparent, and creativity becomes active. Every person expecting a miracle should cultivate gratitude daily. Gratitude sharpens your awareness, allowing you to see progress that others overlook. Gratitude humbles the ego, allowing you to receive wisdom that others ignore. Gratitude strengthens your resolve, allowing you to continue pursuing your purpose even when the path becomes challenging. Gratitude transforms the heart into a vessel capable of holding blessing without becoming overwhelmed. Let us also speak of patience. Patience is not passivity, it is spiritual maturity. It is the recognition that seeds take time to grow, that seasons unfold gradually, that destiny emerges through process, not instant gratification. Many people give up on their miracles because they cannot see progress. But progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. The roots develop before the fruit appears. The foundation forms before the structure rises. The preparation completes before the opportunity arrives. Patience allows the unseen stages of your miracle to unfold without unnecessary fear. And so, as you stand in expectation of a $3,500,000 miracle, understand this: the timing is not always immediate, but the process is always purposeful. Every delay can carry wisdom. Every challenge can carry growth. Every moment of waiting can cultivate strength. Expectation is not about receiving instantly. It is about believing unwaveringly. Now, I want to speak directly to your spirit. You have dreams that have been dormant. You have goals you once abandoned. You have talents you have not fully explored. You have potential that exceeds your current reality. The miracle you're expecting is not only about receiving, it is about awakening. It is about reigniting your sense of purpose. It is about remembering who you were before fear dimmed your courage. It is about rediscovering the power within you that has always been there. Maybe the miracle is not arriving from the outside. Maybe it is being activated inside you right now. Maybe the prayer lit a spark that is awakening dormant creativity, forgotten ambition, or silenced dreams. Maybe the miracle is that you are beginning to expect more of yourself. Maybe the true wealth is the recognition that your gifts, skills, vision, and passion can produce opportunities, success, and abundance far beyond what you once imagined. But do not misunderstand. Abundance is not merely internal. It is a partnership. Internal readiness attracts external opportunity. Internal belief attracts external results. Internal certainty attracts external manifestation. So when you stand in expectation, you are creating a powerful bridge between the spiritual and the practical, the unseen and the seen, the internal and the external. Let us now explore what happens when your expectation inspires bold action. Action is the physical expression of faith. When you take steps toward your vision, even before everything is clear, you are demonstrating alignment with abundance. Action communicates readiness. Action communicates willingness. Action communicates trust. And often it is through action that miracles materialize. Not because action forces them to happen, but because action positions you to cross paths with the opportunities that were already meant for you. Take the person who expects significant miracle. They begin to organize their finances more wisely. They begin to strengthen their skills. They begin to engage with new networks. They begin to research new opportunities. They begin to step into unfamiliar territory. They take risks. They embrace growth. And through these actions, the miracle that once seemed impossible becomes not only possible, but inevitable. So today I invite you to enter a new posture, a posture of faith, a posture of readiness, a posture of gratitude, a posture of courage, a posture of purpose, a posture of expectation for a life that expands beyond limitations, beyond fear, beyond past disappointments. When you say, I expect a $3,500,000 wealth miracle, speak it not only as a desire, but as a declaration of your readiness for abundance in all forms, financial provision, emotional healing, spiritual clarity, creative opportunity, purposeful alignment, relational harmony, and inner peace. Seek it as a symbol of transformation, not merely pure transaction. Speak it as a reminder that you are stepping into a higher level of existence, a deeper connection with purpose, and a fuller expression of your potential. Your prayer has power not because of the words alone, but because of the heart behind them. Your expectation has power not because of the amount named, but because of the faith it represents. Your journey has power not because of the speed, but because of the direction. And so I leave you with this: stand in expectancy, walk in purpose, prepare with intention, act with courage, and give thanks with a full and open heart. Because the moment you choose to believe that abundance is flowing toward you, spiritually, emotionally, creatively, and yes, even financially, you begin to step into a new realm of possibility. Your miracle may not look exactly as you imagine it, but it will come in the form that best supports your destiny. Prepare to receive, prepare to grow, prepare to transform, prepare for the blessing that aligns with why? Our highest purpose. Because expectation is the birthplace of miracles. And today you have chosen to expect. Expectation creates a profound atmosphere for transformation because it reshapes the lens through which you see the world and yourself. When you boldly declare that you expect a wealth miracle, whether symbolized as $3,500 zero or expressed in another form, you are not simply wishing for something to appear. You are stepping into a higher dimension of belief. This kind of expectation doesn't merely live in your mind. It activates something within your spirit. It causes a shift from passive hoping to active believing, from uncertainty to confidence, from hesitation to readiness. The moment you make that declaration, something begins to change internally. Your posture changes, your language changes, your emotional state changes, and most importantly, your perception changes. Expectation is powerful because it creates alignment. It aligns your thoughts with possibility instead of limitation. It aligns your emotions with hope rather than fear. It aligns your decisions with preparation rather than procrastination. When a person carries the expectation of a miracle, they start to walk differently, speak differently, and think differently. They begin to position themselves mentally and spiritually for abundance rather than lack. This alignment is the first step toward transformation, because what you align with internally eventually manifests externally. Expectation is also a magnet. It pulls opportunities toward you by preparing your mind to notice what you would normally overlook. Think about how many opportunities drift past people unnoticed simply because they weren't expecting them. When your heart expects abundance, your awareness sharpens. You begin to see potential in conversations, connections, ideas, and moments that previously seemed ordinary. Expectation opens your eyes to divine timing and divine positioning. What once felt like coincidence now feels like confirmation. What once seemed random now feels intentional. There is also a psychological transformation that comes with expectation. Your confidence grows not because you have already received the miracle, but because you believe that you are becoming the kind of person who can receive it. This shift is critical. It is easy to ask for a miracle, but to expect one means you have accepted the possibility that you are worthy of it, capable of it, and prepared for it. This changes your sense of identity. You stop seeing yourself as limited and start seeing yourself as empowered. You stop seeing yourself as someone waiting for a breakthrough and begin seeing yourself as someone walking toward one. Expectation creates momentum. When you allow yourself to believe that something great is coming, you start making decisions that reflect that belief. You think more creatively. You act more boldly. You step out of comfort zones that once felt intimidating. You take risks rooted in faith rather than fear. You stop holding back your dreams and start investing in them. You stop dwelling on what could go wrong and start focusing on what could go right. This momentum carries you into new spaces of opportunity. Spiritually, expectation is a declaration of trust. It signals to the universe, or to God, or to the divine presence you believe in, that you are ready to receive what aligns with your purpose. It sends a message that your heart is open, your mind is receptive, and your life is prepared. Abundance flows naturally toward the open heart. It is like water seeking the lowest point. It flows to the place that is most ready to receive it. When your heart is prepared through expectation, abundance finds a place to land. Expectation also dismantles doubt. It does not mean you have every answer or understand every step. It simply means you choose to believe in the possibility of breakthrough. You choose to trust the process. You choose to walk in confidence even before you see evidence. Doubt shrinks your world, but expectation expands it. Doubt tightens your grip, but expectation opens your hands. Doubt restricts your vision, but expectation widens your horizon. When you boldly declare that you expect a wealth miracle, you disrupt the patterns of limitation that have been shaping your past. You speak a new identity over your life. You give permission for transformation to begin. And transformation is not always instant, but it always begins with a shift in belief. Expectation is the key that unlocks spiritual and psychological doors that previously felt sealed. It elevates your vibration, aligns your intention, and prepares your life for the arrival of abundance. Through expectation, you position yourself not only to witness a miracle, but to participate in its manifestation. A miracle begins with inner alignment long before anything takes shape in the outer world. This truth is the foundation of every spiritual breakthrough, every moment of transformation, and every experience of abundance. The world often teaches us to chase outcomes, to pursue results, finances, opportunities, or recognition. But the deepest and most lasting miracles never start at the surface. They begin in the invisible places, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. When your inner world is misaligned, even the greatest opportunities slip through your fingers. But when your inner world becomes centered, steady, and aligned with faith, you become a magnet for the very things you once struggled to attain. The true miracle starts within, because your inner state shapes your perception, your choices, your energy, and your destiny. This is why prayer is so powerful. Prayer is not merely an act of speaking words. It is an act of re-entering the soul. When you pray with sincerity, something shifts. Prayer calms the storm inside. It settles anxiety, silences fear, and replaces doubt with trust. It grounds you in something greater than yourself, giving you the strength to let go of what you cannot control and focus your energy on what you can. Prayer is not begging for a miracle. It is aligning yourself with the source of all miracles. When the spirit becomes aligned through prayer, the mind begins to follow. A calm mind is capable of receiving insight, wisdom, ideas, and vision. That calmness clears away mental clutter, the overthinking, the worry, the confusion that often blocks progress. In that stillness, clarity emerges. You begin to see pathways that were hidden before. You begin to recognize what is truly important and what is simply noise. You begin to hear your intuition more clearly. You begin to distinguish between distraction and direction. Inner alignment also activates creativity. Creativity is not limited to art. It is the ability to solve problems, imagine new possibilities, innovate solutions, and approach challenges with fresh perspective. When the mind is peaceful and the spirit is steady, creativity flows naturally. You start to believe again. You start to dream again. You start to envision life beyond your current circumstances. Creativity brings new strategies, new opportunities, and new energy. Many times the miracle you are seeking is created through the creativity that awakens inside you when you align spiritually. This alignment also allows divine timing to unfold. When you are disoriented internally, rushing, worrying, forcing outcomes, you often step ahead of the right moment or cling to the wrong one. But when your inner world aligns, you become more sensitive to timing. You start to recognize when to take action and when to be still. You start to sense which doors to walk through and which doors to leave closed. You begin to move with flow instead of friction. Divine timing is not random. It is revealed to those who are spiritually centered enough to perceive it. Once inner alignment is in place, your decisions improve. You'll make choices from a place of confidence rather than fear, wisdom rather than impulse, purpose rather than pressure. Each aligned decision becomes a stepping stone toward breakthrough. You attract the right people, embrace the right opportunities, and let go of what no longer belongs. Your life begins to shift subtly at first and then dramatically. Outer manifestation naturally follows inner transformation because your external world mirrors what you carry inside. Breakthrough does not come from striving alone. It comes from alignment. You cannot force a miracle, but you can prepare for one. You cannot control outcomes, but you can cultivate the inner environment that allows those outcomes to flourish. When inner alignment is achieved, everything begins to synchronize. Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your faith, and your direction. You become open, receptive, and prepared for the miracle that is already forming. Every great blessing, every divine opportunity, and every moment of abundance begins with this simple yet profound truth. Before the miracle appears outside, it must be born within. Preparation is the evidence of authentic faith because it transforms belief from something spoken into something lived. Anyone can say they expect abundance, breakthrough, or even a miracle, but the ones who truly believe are the ones who prepare. Preparation is the quiet, disciplined language of faith. It is the action that proves the heart is convinced of what the lips declare. Expectation alone is powerful. It awakens hope, raises belief, and opens the imagination. But preparation is what gives that expectation depth, structure, and credibility. It shows that you are not merely wishing for change, you are positioning yourself for it. When you prepare your life for abundance, you are sending a message to the universe, to God, and to your own future. I am ready. Readiness is not an emotional state. It is a practical one. It looks like organizing your finances so that you can handle greater financial flow with wisdom instead of chaos. It looks like evaluating you, habits, and removing the ones that sabotage growth. It looks like sharpening your skills so that when opportunity arrives, you can step into it with confidence rather than hesitation. Preparation is the soil in which blessings can take root. Imagine expecting a large harvest, but never preparing the land. No matter how rich the seeds are, without prepared soil, they cannot grow. In the same way, abundance cannot thrive in an environment that is disorganized, chaotic, or unprepared. Preparation creates space. It creates order. It creates discipline. It creates the stability needed to sustain what you are asking for. Many people receive blessings but lose them because they were not prepared to manage, maintain, or multiply them. Barber ensures that when abundance arrives, it can remain. Authentic faith is always partnered with action. It does not wait passively. It moves proactively. It does not simply want more. It becomes more. When you prepare your finances, perhaps by learning, budgeting, building savings, eliminating unnecessary spending, or becoming more responsible with what you already have, you are demonstrating to the divine that you can be trusted with greater increase. Financial abundance requires financial maturity. Wealth given to unprepared hands often becomes a burden rather than a blessing. Preparation transforms you into a trustworthy steward. Sharpening your skills is another form of preparation. Skills make you valuable. Skills open doors. Skills attract opportunities. When you invest time into learning, growing, improving, and developing what you are capable of, you are increasing your capacity for abundance. Miracles often arrive disguised as opportunities, and opportunities reward the prepared. When someone has sharpened their abilities, they are able to recognize and seize moments others overlook. Preparation makes you ready for the moment that changes everything. Improving discipline is also a core part of preparation. Discipline is the foundation of success in any area, financial, spiritual, emotional, relational, or professional. Without discipline, consistency becomes impossible. Without consistency, progress becomes unstable. Discipline is what allows you to follow through when the excitement fades. It helps you build habits that create long-term transformation. When discipline grows, potential becomes reality. Discipline turns dreams into results. Preparation also communicates a deep level of respect for the blessing you are expecting. When you prepare, you are not treating abundance as something casual or accidental. You are honoring it, valuing it, and creating a place for it in your life. You are saying, what I am asking for matters. It has purpose, it has meaning, and I will treat it with the seriousness it deserves. This attitude attracts divine favor. Responsible receivers are chosen for greater responsibility. Divine blessings require more than desire. They require readiness. Nothing that is meant to elevate your life will be given to you prematurely. Just as a pilot must prepare before flying, or a builder must prepare before constructing. Abundance requires preparation before manifestation. Blessings are not random. They are entrusted, and they are entrusted to those who have demonstrated the capacity to handle them. Preparation is faith in motion. It is belief translated into behavior. It is expectation transformed into action. It is the bridge between praying for abundance and living in abundance. When you take preparation seriously, you are declaring that you believe not only in the possibility of your miracle, but in your ability to carry it, protect it, and maximize it. Faith speaks. Expectation believes, but preparation proves. And when your life reflects real preparation, you become aligned with the blessings that were waiting for you all along. Courage is the driving force behind extraordinary breakthroughs, because it pushes you into the very spaces where transformation happens. Nothing remarkable unfolds in the comfort zone. Nothing miraculous emerges from hesitation. Whenever someone begins to believe in a massive miracle, especially one that stretches their imagination, challenges their logic, and dares them to expect more than they have ever experienced, they are stepping into a realm that requires bold, unwavering courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to let fear lead. It is the quiet but powerful decision to move forward even when the path is uncertain, the outcome unclear, and the journey intimidating. Believing in a miracle of great magnitude requires more than hope. It demands a fearless spirit. It demands the willingness to envision what others think is impossible. It requires the inner strength to hold on to a dream that may seem too large for your current circumstances. Courage is the fuel that allows you to say, I believe something extraordinary is coming, even when your external environment contradicts that belief. Courage chooses faith over fear, purpose over comfort, and destiny over limitation. Courage rejects fear by refusing to give it authority. Fear whispers all the reasons why your dream is out of reach. It tells you that you're not qualified, not ready, not worthy. Fear magnifies your weaknesses and diminishes your strengths. But courage speaks differently. Courage acknowledges the fear but moves forward anyway. Courage reminds you that every person who ever achieved something remarkable started with uncertainty. It tells you that miracles do not manifest in an atmosphere dominated by fear. They manifest in a heart willing to rise above it. Courage also rises above doubt. Doubt is subtle. It doesn't always shout. Sometimes it comes as hesitation, overthinking, or second-guessing. Sometimes doubt is disguised as logic convincing you to dream smaller, expect less, or stay where you are. But courage overrules doubt by choosing possibility. Courage says, even if I cannot see it now, I trust that something greater is unfolding. Courage allows you to take steps forward instead of being frozen by questions. It helps you embrace mystery instead of fearing it. When doubt tries to pull you back, courage pulls you forward. Courage speaks success, even in silence. There are seasons when no one can see your vision but you. There are moments when the progress is invisible and the breakthrough feels distant. In those times, courage becomes your inner voice of victory. It becomes the voice that says, keep going, keep believing, keep preparing, keep expecting. Courage speaks success long before success shows up. It affirms your future even when your present feels uncertain. It reminds you that silence is not absence. It is preparation. It is incubation. It is the quiet season where strength, resilience, and faith are developed. Courage pushes you into territories where blessings live. Every blessing has a territory, and often that territory lies outside your comfort zone. Comfort feels safe, but it keeps you stagnant. Comfort protects you, but it also limits you. Courage is what allows you to step into unfamiliar spaces, new opportunities, new partnerships, new levels of responsibility, new challenges. These are the places where growth happens and miracles unfold. Blessings multiply in the territory of risk, faith, and obedience. When you move courageously, you enter environments rich with potential and divine opportunity. Courage also positions you to recognize and receive opportunities. Many opportunities appear disguised as challenges. They require you to stretch, adapt, or step into something unfamiliar. Without courage, these opportunities look intimidating. With courage, they look like divine invitations. Courage trains your spirit to say yes to what is calling you higher. It helps you see possibility where others see difficulty. It empowers you to move boldly into spaces that lead to increased breakthrough and abundance. Extraordinary breakthroughs are not random. They are the result of courageous steps taken consistently. Each time you choose courage over fear, you strengthen your capacity for abundance. Each time you push through doubt, you widen the path for miracles to flow. Each time you speak success in the silence, you align yourself with divine timing. Every courageous decision becomes a seed that grows into transformation. In the end, courage is not just a feeling, it is a lifestyle. It is a spiritual posture. It is the decision to trust in the unseen, to walk toward the unfamiliar, and to believe in the extraordinary. Courage is the force that turns dreams into reality, prayers into progress, and expectation into manifestation. Without courage, miracles remain a possibility. But with courage, miracles become your reality. Gratitude unlocks the flow of abundance because it shifts your entire internal atmosphere into a state of openness, receptivity, and alignment. When you practice gratitude even before the miracle appears, you demonstrate a lev, L of faith that goes beyond surface belief. This is matured faith, the kind that says, I trust the process, I trust the timing, and I trust that what is meant for me is already on the way. Gratitude expressed in advance is not naive optimism. It is spiritual confidence. It is the acknowledgement that the seeds of your miracle are already planted. Even if you cannot yet see the harvest, thankfulness elevates your energy. Every emotion carries a vibration, and gratitude is one of the highest. When you are grateful, your emotional frequency rises above fear, frustration, doubt, and disappointment. You feel lighter, clearer, and more grounded. Your thoughts shift from what is lacking to what is possible. This energetic shift matters because abundance flows most naturally toward hearts and minds operating at a high level of awareness and positivity. Gratitude lifts you into alignment with abundance, while negativity and worry place you in misalignment. When your energy is elevated through gratitude, your vision improves literally and spiritually. Gratitude clears the fog of anxiety. It dissolves the illusion that you are alone or unsupported. It opens your eyes to opportunities, resources, and blessings that are already around you but often overlooked. When you are thankful, you stop focusing on what is missing and start appreciating what is present. This shift in focus makes space for new ideas, new clarity, and new inspiration to flow. Gratitude fine-tunes your inner lens, allowing you to see possibilities where you once saw obstacles. It broadens your perspective so you can recognize the divine orchestration unfolding in ways big and small. Gratitude also aligns you with the frequency of abundance. Abundance is not just about material wealth. It is a state of being, a flow of ideas, creativity, connection, love, growth, and opportunity. When you practice gratitude, you vibrate at the same frequency as abundance itself. You become more receptive to the good that is ying to find you. Gratitude is like tuning a radio. When you tune into the right frequency, the sound becomes clear. When your heart is tuned to gratitude, abundance becomes easier to perceive, receive, and experience. A grateful heart attracts blessings. This is not superstition, it's spiritual and psychological truth. People who operate with gratitude naturally draw support, kindness, opportunities, and generosity. Their attitude makes them approachable, trustworthy, and uplifting. Gratitude shifts how you interact with the world, and in turn shifts how the world interacts with you. When you are grateful, people want to help you. Doors open. Unexpected favor appears. Blessings seem to arrive out of nowhere, but in reality, they are drawn toward the energy you have cultivated. Gratitude attracts ideas. A thankful mind is a calm mind, and a calm mind is fertile ground for creativity. When you practice gratitude, you stop fixating on problems and start focusing on possibilities. This opens space for innovation and intuition. Ideas begin to flow because your mind is no longer cluttered by stress or scarcity thinking. Many breakthroughs come not from working harder, but from shifting into a grateful state that allows inspired ideas to rise naturally. Gratitude attracts connections. People gravitate toward individuals who radiate positivity and appreciation. Gratitude strengthens relationships, builds trust, and invites meaningful partnerships. When you are thankful, you communicate a sense of humility, openness, and mutual respect that deepens connections. These connections often become channels for blessings, opportunities, mentorship, and divine alignment. Gratitude attracts favor. Favor is the invisible assistance that amplifies your efforts, accelerates your progress, and positions you for blessings you could not have orchestrated on your own. Favor often finds those who live with a thankful heart, because gratitude keeps the spirit soft, humble, and receptive. When you are grateful, you recognize even the small gifts in life. And when you honor the small, you make room for the greater. Even more powerful is the fact that gratitude expressed before the miracle manifests as a prophetic act. It is as though you are stepping into the future and saying, I received this in advance. This kind of gratitude collapses the distance between your present and your promise. It signals that you trust the divine timing so completely that you can celebrate before the evidence appears. This level of gratitude accelerates manifestation because it removes resistance, doubt, and fear from your spirit. Gratitude is not merely a reaction. It is a strategy. It is a spiritual technology that opens doors, aligns your energy, and prepares your life for abundance. When you practice it consistently, you create an environment that welcomes blessings instead of blocking them. A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles, large and small. It multiplies what you have and attracts what you desire. Gratitude is not just a response to abundance, it is the pathway to abundance. Action turns spiritual expectation into tangible results because it is the bridge between belief and manifestation. While prayer plants the seed of possibility and expectation waters that seed with faith, it is action that brings the harvest into reality. Without action, even the strongest faith remains dormant. Action is the physical expression of belief, the proof that you truly expect something to happen. When you take bold, consistent steps toward the vision you are praying for, you step into the flow of opportunities that lead to real and lasting transformation. Prayer prepares your spirit. It aligns your heart. It connects you to divine wisdom and guidance. Expectation prepares your mindset. It strengthens your faith and expands your imagination. But action prepares your life. It clears the path, removes obstacles, and positions you in the right place at the right time. Action is partner, a ship with the divine. It is your yes in motion. It shows that you are not just waiting for a miracle to arrive. You are moving toward it one step at a time. Action requires courage. It means stepping outside what is familiar and comfortable. It means taking risks rooted in faith. It means moving even when you don't have full clarity. Many people wait for perfect conditions before taking action. But miracles rarely show up in perfect conditions. They show up in movement. You cannot steer a parked vehicle, and you cannot guide a stalled dream. When you act, you give the divine something to work with. Action activates momentum, and momentum attracts opportunities. Bold, consistent steps are what position you to meet the people, ideas, resources, and situations that lead to breakthrough. Action is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is a small daily habit. Making a phone call, creating a plan, learning a skill, starting a project, improving your health, managing your money, organizing your time. Each small step builds a new foundation. Each action sends a message. I am preparing for abundance, and that readiness creates alignment with the blessings coming your way. Financial transformation requires financial action. You cannot expect increase while maintaining the same habits that created limitation. Action might look like budgeting, investing, studying wealth principles, starting a business, or eliminating unnecessary spending. Emotional transformation requires emotional action like healing old wounds, setting boundaries, seeking support, or cultivating inner peace. Spiritual transformation requires spiritual action, consistency in prayer, meditation, reflection, and growth. Creative transformation requires creative action, practicing your craft, developing new ideas, and taking bold steps toward your goals. Every realm of transformation responds to action. It is the catalyst that takes the unseen and makes it visible. Miracles often appear not by falling into your lap, but by emerging from the choices you make and the courage you show. Many blessings come disguised as opportunities, and opportunities reveal themselves when you are in motion. The doors that open are the ones you walk toward. The connections that form are the ones you seek out. The breakthroughs that unfold are the ones you prepare yourself to receive. Action also reveals hidden strength. When you move forward, you discover abilities you didn't know you had. You uncover creativity that was lying dormant. You build confidence that only comes through doing. Action transforms you from the inside out. It shifts your identity from someone who is hoping to someone who is becoming. And that shift is magnetic. When you embody the energy of someone taking aligned action, you attract aligned results. It is important to understand that action is not about forcing outcomes. It is about flowing with divine guidance. It is about stepping into what you feel led to do, trusting that each step is part of a larger picture you may not fully see yet. When your spiritual expectation is strong and your actions match your belief, you create a powerful combination that accelerates manifestation. Action is also a declaration of discipline and responsibility. It says you are willing to steward the blessing you are asking for. It says you value the miracle enough to prepare for it. It says you understand that faith without action is incomplete. The divine meets you at the level of your movement. The truth is simple but profound. Miracles often appear through the doors you choose to walk through, not the doors you simply notice, not the doors you stand in front of, but the doors you enter with courage. When you act, you activate. When you move, you manifest. When you step, you shift. Action is the turning point, where spiritual expectation becomes physical reality. Prayer opens the heavens. Expectation opens the heart. But action opens the